Hey everybody, and welcome back to Curry's Movie Reviews. Today, I am reviewing The Substance. The Substance was released in 2024, and it was written and directed by Caroline Fargi, and it stars Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, with a supporting performance from Dennis Quaid. Right off the bat, this movie review is going to feature some minor spoilers. So, the story revolves around Demi Moore's character, Elizabeth Sparkle. And Elizabeth Sparkle was once a very famed and beloved Hollywood actress. She won an Oscar, has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but her career is and has been for the past 30 or so years the star of a daytime workout TV program, something on the lines of what Jane Fonda did. But now, at 50, which Dennis Quaid's character says is too old.
People always ask for something new. It's inevitable. At 50, well, it stops.
She is at the end of her career. She is being fired from her position, and they are looking for a new, younger, beautiful actress to fill her role. So, upon hearing this news, Elizabeth is very distraught, and while being distracted while driving out of the studio, she is T-boned by another car. Thankfully, she is safe, but while she is in the doctor's office, she is approached by, I'll say, a very beautiful young man who slips a note and a USB stick into her pocket while she's not looking. And that note says, "This changed my life." And the USB stick reads, "The Substance," with a phone number on the back. And upon returning home, she watches the video that's on the USB stick, which details the process of this miracle drug called The Substance.
One single injection unlocks your DNA and will release another version of yourself. This is The Substance.
Grief-stricken, Elizabeth calls the number on the back of the USB stick, makes her way to a shady dark alley, and finds her dose of the substance. She takes it in her apartment bathroom, and after a gruesome and gory mitosis-like experience upon her own body, a new, more young, more beautiful version of herself is born out of her own body. And that is Sue, played by Margaret Qualley.
I'm Sue.
What follows is one of the most insane, graphic, exhilarating, nail-biting, hair-rising, cold sweat-inducing experiences I've ever had in a movie theater. Caroline Fargi has created one of the most memorable movie experiences I ever had. And if you're a fan of body horror movies like The Thing Behind Me, but turned up to the nth degree, this is a must-watch for you. I don't often get experiences like this in the movie theater anymore, but this is one of those rare exceptions where being in a packed movie theater really turns up the experience of a movie like this. So let me get into the story. As I said, Elizabeth has been fired from her job. She is a very lonely woman. She doesn't have a husband or a family. She lives alone in her high-rise apartment above Los Angeles. She is feeling tossed out and degraded and feeling like she has no place in the world. Dennis Quaid's character, he's just like a total asshole.
Pretty girls should always smile.
In a very early scene in the film, Elizabeth gets done with a shoot, very happy, very satisfied with her performance, and she makes her way to the bathroom. The girls' bathroom is under repair, so she has to use the men's bathroom. While she's in the stall, Dennis Quaid's character comes in, and unbeknownst to her, he's on the phone talking to another producer and absolutely degrading Elizabeth, old, washed up, fat, ugly. And this really gets to her, and it starts eating away at her mind, and what ultimately causes her to seek the substance. And in detail in the instructions that's provided to Elizabeth, her consciousness switches from her body to the new, younger body. But every week, every 7 days, she has to switch back to her old body, or else bad things happen. And this comes into play later in the film.
A perfect balance of 7 days each. The one and only thing not to forget. You are one.
So she becomes this new version of herself, which she calls Sue. And Sue goes and auditions for the role that Elizabeth just lost. And she gets it. Dennis Quaid's character loves her, calls her the most beautiful girl he's ever seen, says everyone's going to love her, and everyone does. She gets this role. She becomes famous overnight. Eventually, she's asked to host a New Year's Eve event. And while she's Sue, she gets back all the love that she had when she was younger. And this is like a drug to her. Apart from the substance, this is a drug that she needs to keep going back to stay happy. But in doing so, she starts to hate her older self while she's Sue. And while she's Elizabeth, she starts to hate what Sue is doing to Elizabeth. Because while she's Sue, she disobeys the 7-day rule and goes over that 7 days, but keeps on going back to her younger body because she can't fathom the old and worn out and unloved anymore.
There's been a slight misuse of the substance.
Would you like to stop? Would you like to stop? Would you like to stop? Would you like to stop?
I'm fine. Everything's fine.
This whole movie is really about self-image and the way that men and women especially are coerced to undergo treatments and procedures and surgeries to make themselves look younger. And while doing that, they harm themselves and become a version of themselves that's pretty much unrecognizable from what they were before. One thing out of many is very striking in this film is the cinematography. I was really blown away by the shot compositions in this film. A lot of shots reminded me of The Shining. There's many like long hallways and characters coming from far away, close in the frame. And I haven't even got into the disgusting and gruesome and gory parts of this movie yet, which if you're any at all squeamish to gore or blood, this is not the movie for you. It is very intense. And I don't really want to get into the details of it because I think it's something to be experienced if you're a fan of something like that. But going into the movie, I couldn't even begin to imagine what I was about to see. I had to give it up to the makeup team because they did an incredible job. I would love to see this get nominated for Best Makeup at the Oscars, but they really don't appreciate horror movies as much as they should. Just look back to Hereditary, you know, it got nominations, but it did not. The finale of this movie is utterly insane. I had my jaw dropped for the entire time. It's like a 15-minute ending sequence, which is just like nothing I've ever seen before. And this is the whole kind of tragedy of this movie, is that Elizabeth, you know, when she's walking out of the hospital after her car wreck, she's approached by a former classmate of hers. And this classmate has had his eyes on her for, you know, his whole life. And he says, you know, you're still the most beautiful girl in the world. And he means it. But she doesn't see that. And if she just would have heard that guy out, maybe she wouldn't have gone this far and ruined everything. And that's what really sits with you at the end of the movie. Apart from all the gore and apart from all the gruesome imagery, is that message, is that you should love yourself. And that's not an easy thing to do, but it could be much better than going to the point of making yourself unrecognizable through surgeries or procedures. That's why I'm going to give The Substance 4.5 close-up dancing workout bodies out of 5. Well, thanks for watching the video, everybody. Check out The Substance in a couple weeks. It'll be out on digital, or if you can catch it in the theater, I highly recommend that. It is a great theater experience. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.